I'm tired? Yeah, I had to do a lot of stuff this morning. Yeah, it happens. Alright, anyway. Ubisoft plummets after another AAA flop shuts down. Oh, I remember this game. It was supposed to be the Call of Duty killer. Alright, let's do it.
Hey, what's up guys, Riff here. So it must be a day that ends in Y because we're going to be covering yet another L that Ubisoft is taking. This time they're putting to rest yet another game due to low player involvement.
Yeah,
let's just be honest, the year 2024 has not been it for Ubisoft. You can look at their stock over the past 6 months.
Look at this big old bump and then they just crashed right back down over 3 months. I'm actually impressed that it's not lower.
It has been steadily decreasing to nightmarishly low numbers. You can see this big crash off here, leading to an all-time low in October, getting a little breath of life in November, just to come crashing down again in December. And the latest set of news involving Ubisoft is definitely not helping that situation, and that comes from the game XDefiant. This was another...
I barely heard of this game. I remember some people were saying it was the COD killer. Killer XDefiant first-person arena shooter.
Big AAA release for Ubisoft earlier this year. One that kind of gets lost in the shuffle here because everyone's talking about the other major flops like Skull and Bones, Star Wars Outlaws, as well as the whole set of issues involving Assassin's Creed Shadows. But XDefiant kind of got swept under the rug, and this was a game, a first-person shooter that was supposed to be a game changer, something really innovative. However, it is falling apart right before everyone's eyes. Although that did not stop the glazing from game.
I didn't even know about this game. It's like, what was that other, was it another Ubisoft game that was really bad? No, it was a Sony game. It was that single-player game. There was nothing really wrong with it other than it looked bland and they didn't market it. No, not Concord. No. Ah, what was it called? It doesn't matter. It was just some no-name game. You get my point. I can't even remember the name. Desert? Yeah, it had like a desert in it. Dust? I can't remember.
These journalists earlier this year when this game released, they were hyping this up like one of the most successful launches ever, achieving 1 million unique players in the first 24 hours and also getting a large player count and apparently being the fastest to hit these numbers in Ubisoft history.
What?
However, if you actually give it a little bit of thought, you would realize this is a free-to-play game that relies on Battle Pass and also in-game cosmetics. So
the milestone makes the fastest ever game to reach 1 million unique players. The game is free to play. I mean, 1 million players isn't that bad. It's pretty good.
Numbers are very inflated in terms of participation because there was nothing to invest into the game to give it a try. But also in the first quarter report from Ubisoft that they released in July, the first quarter covering April, May, and June for Ubisoft, they were praising their numbers, showing off to investors that they had a very good start to the year, and the quarter notably saw the launch of XDefiant. That was off to an encouraging start. Unfortunately, that won't go over very well, but this is a very interesting read here from this first quarter report.
It did better than our other dog shit games. Please, investors, do not be upset. Star Wars Outlaws was such a pile of shit. It was unplayable. Watching Asmund play that game was astounding.
Where you have the co-founder of Ubisoft saying, in a selective market, we delivered a solid start to the year.
Yeah.
So that's very much copium. If a company comes out and says, we had a good start to the year, we're solid, that means things are not solid, okay? It's in their interest to hype up any bit of success they have, and if they're doing above average, they're going to let you know. So saying, like, yeah, we're just doing solid.
Well, no, they have to do that. They have to. It's just how it is. It's investor speak. It's the smart thing to do. You're not going to be honest with them and freak them out.
That should have been red flags all over the place. But you can see, actually, interesting too, that they note that the launch dates for Star Wars Outlaws, which did come out this year, and Assassin's Creed Shadows was targeted for 2024 and 2025. So back in July, they were already hinting that Assassin's Creed Shadows might be delayed until 2025. So that's just an interesting little note there. But, of course, some of the optimism surrounding this game would start to go away because the player numbers started to very quickly dwindle. And an insider back about a month ago was saying that basically they were struggling to even get 20,000 concurrent players. And if they achieved that number, they would have been happy. Like, they weren't even close to 20,000, and that would have been already a bit of a disappointment, again, because this is a free-to-play game, so they really need some big numbers to keep this going. And eventually, that low player involvement, those low concurrent player counts, would lead to some rumors and some insiders sharing info about XDefiant. We have this tweet from Modern Warzone here that would cause a lot of controversy. This was posted, I believe, on October 15th.
Modern Warzone is like a news update for, like, you know, Call of Duty games. Ooh, the competition's laughing at you, man. They're laughing all the way to the bank.
15th of this year, and it said Ubisoft shooter XDefiant is reportedly shutting down after Season 4 if player counts don't increase. And this report comes from Just for Leaks 2, who said multiple sources have repeated the same information to him. Now, this post would get a lot of attention, and we also get a community note. It was
this was on October, so now they're looking kind of dumb, huh?
Hit with this note saying this is incorrect. The executive producer has confirmed these claims are false. So back in October, we had the executive producer of this game make this tweet in response to those rumors leaking, saying, to be crystal clear, there are no plans to shut down after Season 4. I've literally been in meetings as of last week to discuss our year 2 plans, but right now we are super focused on improving the technical experience and adding more content for Seasons 3 and 4. Now, of course, you know where this video is going.
Trust
me,
guys.
The new report from 2 days ago, Ubisoft officially shutting down XDefiant after barely 6 months. Yeah,
promises refunds for Ultimate Founders Pack. Oh my god, they have to, because the game's gonna get shut down, and the Ultimate Founders Pack probably gave him like infinite battle passes or some shit. Yeah, dude.
Life comes at you fast. This was not too surprising to see happen. And now we have the executive producer here, about 2 months later, with his tail between his legs, completely flipping the script on what he had previously said, and coming out and saying, hello, XDefiant fans. I am unfortunately here today to announce that XDefiant will be shutting down. Starting today, new downloads and player registrations will no longer be available. We will still release our Season 3 content in the near future, exact date to be announced, or to be determined, and the servers will remain active until June 3rd of 2025. So technically, he didn't lie back in October when he said it would shut down. It wouldn't shut down after Season 4 because, well, it's shutting down after Season 3.
That's even worse than I thought. That's even worse than I thought, man. He didn't lie, technically. Yeah, less the longer the Concord. You got that going for you. Yeah, you beat Sony in that regard.
Brutal stuff, but unfortunately, nobody really feels too sorry for anything involving Ubisoft, and that's maybe not the fault of XDefiant. That is much more the fault of the teams over at Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows that are generating so much negative PR for the company. But throughout all of this statement, it's pretty lengthy, but he also talks about how this was like a real daring endeavor for them, especially being free to play, and it needed some legs to really establish itself. But also, he says pretty much that this was kind of a experimental type game where they're really getting some community involvement and reflection.
An experimental type of game that you spend probably millions of dollars on, that you shoved full of microtransactions, and it's just another arena shooter that had absolutely no marketing involved in it. You basically didn't have any players. 1 million, and then you're shutting know. It's a little tax write-off, sure.
And they say
this
right
is a great
here,
idea. I want to
honest
invest in
communication between
Ubisoft.
developers and players. This player-first mentality, along with respectful, non-toxic conversations between developers and players, has been one of the standout differences that made XDefiant so special. So the problem with Ubisoft is you can't really trust anything they say, and this guy might be complete.
You shouldn't trust any corpos, what they say. I've been taught that so many times. I remember when Blizzard said, the community manager said, we're not going to add the token into World of Warcraft Classic, and then they did it anyway. And then they backpedaled on it. Yeah, they said they would never do that, and then they totally did it anyway. I'm sure there's other people with other stories of other video game companies saying one thing and then 3 years later they do another thing or they contradict themselves. Don't trust corpos. It's not just Ubisoft. It's not just Ubisoft being the bad guy.
To be honest, that there was a lot of involvement and a lot of conversations with players, but Ubisoft has completely tainted the water where you can't really trust anything they're saying, because we hear this stuff from the team at Assassin's Creed Shadows that clearly is not listening. There's also rumors that internally they just don't invite any criticism whatsoever, and they do not care what players think about some of their decisions.
Well, that's not true. I think they delayed the game to fix up some really non-answer shit. They didn't take out Yasuke, sure, but they're saying that they're claiming they're changing some of the scenery to be more historically accurate. That's not going to change the quality of the game, though. That's the thing.
So it makes things like this be casted in doubt. But again, I didn't play XDefiant. I don't know if any of you have. If you have, feel free to share your experience with the game itself, the community, some of the moderators and the teams working with players. Maybe you have some good experiences. I'm not really sure. The reaction to these posts are very, very mixed. By the way, some people are completely heartbroken. Other people are doing /S to spit. Okay.
Can you imagine you're one of those fucking freaks that spent $3,000 on this game and it's just getting shut down? You can't even play it after June 2025. It's just gone forever.
They just do not care.
Oh, no.
They don't feel bad for any Ubisoft project falling apart. But in a very strange act of goodwill, I am shocked that XDefiant will actually be doing some refunds. So for those who purchase the Ultimate Founders Pack, you will receive a full refund. Players who made any purchases within the last 30 days will also be fully refunded. So,
yeah, last 30 days means nothing when you were pulling people and saying, no, we're not going to shut the game down. Yeah, nobody's getting a refund. It sounds really nice, but what does it include? I need to see this. XDefiant Founders Pack. I gotta see it. What does it include? Probably an infinite battle pass or something? Oh, XDefiant Pack. What's in there? How much does it cost? XP coins, something. Wait a minute. Chat, hold on. I gotta show you this. They're not even giving a refund for the Founders Pack. They're only doing it for this edition. Yep. That's all you get in return. All this other crap, if you bought the $40 one or the $20 one, it's only for the $70. It's so funny. They kind of all three people that bought that shit, they're like, oh yeah, you'll get your $70 back for sure.
So that's actually pretty surprising. That is one of the very rare Ubisoft W's right here. I guess, this should be like the standard, but at least they did it, right?
The standard should have been, should have been giving it to all the Founders Packs. It's a free-to-play game! Why is it only for the maximum amount? Again, it's not Rev's fault. They probably didn't look into it, but still, it's so dumb.
To me, if they're willing to do stuff like that, I feel like they're just packing it up. It's kind of a Concord situation where, yeah, they made $1 million in sales, but they refunded everyone because what do they want to do? Lose an extra $1 million on already losing hundreds of million? Like, what's that $1 million actually do for the company. It's more of a act of goodwill and a inviting message to players, and something that they might actually take away as a good thing the company did. And I think that's what they're doing with XDefiant. I don't think
it's nothing. It's a nothing burger. I don't believe it.
On to those purchases is going to help them in any sort of a significant way when they're losing hundreds of millions of dollars across multiple games at this point. Ubisoft is just trying to preserve something out of this.
If they were really trying to have a goodwill thing, they would have refunded all the founders packs. I can't even imagine that would be that much, but I could be wrong. It's a free-to-play game. XDefianting the budget. Thank you. That was funny.
And apparently things are getting even worse. So this is even beyond just XDefiant. So you have a reporter here who has claims that Ubisoft is losing a lot of its employees. They're ramping down, specifically their Sydney team, up to 177 people laid off, and half of the XDefiant team is moving on to other projects.
And all these people are going to be so pissed at gamers, and they're going to create Reddit accounts or go posting on their private Reddit accounts about how gamers are bad. Not by, but I know it's a self-perpetuating cycle, man. For real. Like, it's just like, oh, I hate gamers. I didn't buy my game because they hate us. They don't want to buy our games because they're evil. They're racist.
And Ubisoft had hoped the game would compete with Call of Duty. Oh my lord, copium. But then they end here saying, correction/update. The cuts in terms of employees is expected to be closer to 277, not 177.
Holy.
And the Ubisoft San Francisco production studio closing. Ubisoft San Francisco business office is remaining open. Yeah, again, more L's for Ubisoft
Put
here.
the fries
Again,
in the bag.
this isn't going to look any better for the coming months. And again, the gem, the supposed star of the show for Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed Shadows, is coming out in February. They are putting a lot onto that game, and it's likely going to flop, and it's going to be a spectacle to see in February. But just look at the history of Ubisoft and their stock.
God,
look
man.
how bad things have gotten since.
You know what's sad is that during 2020, they actually didn't do that well. That's really telling. They spiked back up in 2021, but in 2020, they just they didn't actually do that well. They kind of flopped. Most video game companies really spiked in 2020.
Let's see here. This is like mid 2018. Look how things have fallen.
Was that Siege?
This is just.
Was that Siege? That makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense. It was really popular at the time.
They're falling back to their early days in terms of the stock price. It's brutal, and like I said, this is the calm before the storm. It's only going to get worse from here, but for now, that's going to do it for this video. As always, feel free to share your thoughts about today's topics in the comments section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
Womp womp. Womp womp. Sucks to suck. Oh my god. Blah blah blah. Took him out. I love making fun of Ubisoft. Oh my goodness. Wowie. Oh my god. $2.40. Oh my god, it's bad. It's over, chat. Buy the dip. I think they're imploding. I kind of hope they are imploding because they don't deserve. What they had was really fun. Assassin's Creed. I heard nothing but good things of the old Assassin's Creeds. And now we're just kind of exploding. They grew too fat. Yeah, now they're calling themselves. They're calling their own people.
Oh, yeah.